Let's get your story. That is a very important development and is a reality check. It is about COVID's impact and the prolonged closure of schools on children in rural India. Now, a recent survey of nearly 1,400 school children in underprivileged households has shown consequences of prolonged school closure in 1.5 years. The survey has revealed that 37% of children in rural India are not studying at all, and only 8% of them are studying online regularly. Moreover, 75% of children saw loss of reading abilities during the lockdown due to closure of schools. The survey has found out that 57% of urban and 65% of rural children face connectivity issues while joining online classes, and schools not sending study material to them. It also continues to be one of the biggest hurdles in online education. The survey highlights that marginalized communities are the worst affected. For instance, only 4% of rural SC and ST children were studying online regularly, compared with 15% among other rural children. For more on this, I'm joined by Parveen Malhotra, who is an educationist herself. Ma'am, thank you for making time and speaking to Mirror Now. These takeaways of this survey paint a picture that give us a reality check of how the education system in India has taken a big hit due to prolonged closure of schools. What is your assessment of the numbers that have come up?
Well, as far as the numbers go, I think the assessment is pretty okay, and perhaps the number is even larger. But let me tell you something. This problem is not endemic to India. I was reading that even in UK, half of UK students are impacted, and this is happening across Asia Pac and across all developing countries. I mean, suddenly, even if a house has one mobile phone, which many rural families do for their rural phone, but even if you were to look at total all of India, barely 40% of mobile phone using households have a smartphone. And you require a smartphone to be able to access online studies. So obviously, our education has taken a hit. And let me tell you something, this is not just true of rural areas, this is true of even mega cities like Delhi and Mumbai. I see around me a whole lot of kids who, where the entire family has just one phone, and that is shared with the father, the mother, 2 children, 3 children. So this was bound to happen. The way to do it would probably be to send them information or classes by SMS later on, or WhatsApp messaging, or have a dedicated radio station, through which children could access their classroom study. This has been an exceptional situation, for which we were not at all prepared. Even the extent to which our educationists, schools, teachers have risen to the occasion, I think is commendable. I mean, and as time goes, minor, major improvements will keep happening, but this is a hit. Education has taken a hit globally. So we are not the only country that's suffering. Our rural areas are not the only places that are suffering. So unnecessary and undue self-flagellation not required. In fact, instead, we should be all putting our heads together to find solutions and ease the problem. And I think as soon as more and more people get vaccinated, and as soon as our children start getting vaccinated, etc., the situation will improve. Until that happens, we should treat this as a 0 year.
All right. Thank you, Parveen Malhotra, for weighing in on this very important survey and sharing your perspective on the impact of a prolonged closure of schools on children in both urban and rural India.